just me, or are this year's anniversary events a little bit different than the last couple of years? In fact, it feels like something is missing. So today we're going to talk all about the 8th anniversary events coming to Rise of Kingdoms, possibly today at the time of recording this. At least when I upload this, the update should be live. I don't know if the events are actually going to land when the update actually lands. Usually it's a day or two later, but either way, we need to talk about this year's anniversary events, not only because it's a little bit weird this year, but also because these events actually are insanely good value, and so you need to be prepared for what is about to land in the game, so that way you guys can maximize your rewards. But before we jump in, of course, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I am a partner creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more Rise of Kingdoms content that helps you get the most value out of these events, drop a thumbs up down below. Otherwise, I won't know that you want more event coverage videos, and consider subscribing. We just hit 98,000, which is insane, so thank you. All right, folks, let's jump right in here, and let's first go over what we are getting for this anniversary event, because this was just posted a couple of days ago over on the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel. And the first thing that we actually see is the Melon Market event, and this is of course a fan favorite event. You get a ton of resources from this event and a bunch of other goodies, and it's a lot of fun. I really like the Melon Market event, and I think a lot of people do as well. We also know that this iteration of the Melon Market is the first one where we have cross server stealing or thefts from other players in other kingdoms. So I'm really interested to see how this variation of the event goes, if it's going to help you get even more rewards, or if it's going to be just a whimsical twist to the event. We actually have no idea based on this video. They don't really show anything other than melon steals that your kingdom has versus the enemy kingdom, and so we'll have to wait and see for it to land in the game to know exactly how this works and if there's additional rewards for actually winning this on a daily basis. The next event we see here is the 7k gems event, which is confirmed. This is fantastic. This is basically the most popular holiday event that we see in Rise of Kingdoms, period. The reason that it's called the 7k gems event, if you're a new player, is because this second track right here costs 7,000 gems, and if I remember correctly, completing the entire event to level 25 actually gives you back 7,000 gems as well. So really, as long as you're active and you complete this event entirely, then you get all of these rewards for free just by playing the game and grinding for a couple of days. And this gets you a ton of legendary commander sculptures. I think it's upwards of 25 or 35 legendary commander sculptures as well, plus a bunch of other amazing rewards here. As you can see, material choice chests, resources, speed ups, and everything else that you're going to need to progress your account. Beyond that though, we also see a couple of other events over here that aren't actually shown off in the video, but we have gotten the Riddles of the Sphinx event in the past as well as the Arcadian Gifts. Now, the Arcadian Gifts event I was actually very curious about. I didn't even know what this was, and I looked back at previous years, and this event has come around in the past as well, and it looks like this. During the event, you can send out festival gifts in the kingdom and alliance chat channels. Each gift can be claimed by up to 5 governors. It's first come first serve. Unused festival gifts will be lost at the end of the event. Okay, so we've got an event here that is coming that will be able to just give gifts to your kingdom or whatever, and I don't remember exactly how you get these gifts. It may be related to a bundle or an event or something like that. However, in the video that was shared on the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel, you'll see that they do scroll through a couple of other events that are coming. Here we see the Lucky Red Packet. Now, the Lucky Red Packet, as far as I can remember, is typically an event that comes around for the Chinese New Year, where you get the red packets and you can give them to your alliance or whatever the case might be. And it seems a little bit redundant that we would be getting a Lucky Red Packet event, first of all, outside of the Chinese New Year, and then on top of that, it's coming at the same time as Arcadian Gifts, which is another event where you give your alliance or kingdom gifts or rewards, right? So it seems like we have kind of two events doing the exact same thing but with different names. I don't recall in the past if we've ever had those two events overlap before, or if this is a first, but it certainly feels a little bit bizarre. Now, as we go ahead and watch as they scroll through here, we see Barbarian Incursions, which we do see this. I think we saw this last year as well, but we see this throughout the year multiple times, right? But then we see the arms training event, right, where you battle Arms Master Lohar, and this event was just around, I think, like a week or two ago. Like, we literally just got arms training Lohar. So again, another sort of bizarre event to include here because we literally just had it. Then we get Alliance Quiz, and then then we have Grand Reunion, and Grand Reunion we get at least once every single year, if not twice, but this is the event where you get a invite code to Rise of Kingdoms, and if you invite players back to the game with your code, you get a certain number of gems and keys and things like that, sort of to get your friends to return to the game basically. And I like this event as well, so this is nothing out of the ordinary. This is something we would expect every single year. But now let's return to the in-game mail that we got announcing the anniversary special update version 1.1.11. so this is coming on 8/27, so that's literally at reset today of the time of recording this, which means you're going to be watching this on the 27th when I post this live, so some of this stuff might already be in the game. But the official mail goes through and shows us some of the things that we just saw. It also includes desert tracks, which is a fantastic event, which we've seen in past years as well. I think it only comes around for the anniversary, if not at most twice per year. By the way, this is the Grand Reunion event that I was just talking about. Okay, so you get gems and keys and gold stars and sculptures for inviting old players back to the game. But this is the desert tracks event that I was just referring to, and you get your hands on some dice, and when you roll the dice, you move a certain number of spaces on the board, and landing on certain spaces grants you this currency, which you can then redeem for some insanely good rewards like the transmutation crystal, legendary commander sculptures, legendary material choice chests, formation choice chests, legendary as well. We've also got skill resets, army expansions, and all that sort of stuff. So again, this is one of the best events in Rise of Kingdoms when it comes to getting some of these things. Like again, the transmutation crystal, this is a must get, right? Like you must get this when this event comes around, assuming that the shop is the same as it was last year. The formation choice chests are extremely valuable because we know that Delta 2 is right around the corner, and I might make a video about that soon in the next couple of days, but you should be stocking up on formation choice chests when this comes around as well. Same thing with the equipment material choice chests, just in general, those are fantastic value here. So desert tracks, another amazing event at the same time as 7k gems, at the same time as melon market. So you can see here that like the value of these events are some of the best events in Rise of Kingdoms. And then on top of that, we have the Circus of Wonders, which I believe every year the grand prize is like a concealed dagger or something, which is like a horrible prize. I hope they finally change that. Like that's been the prize for like 5 years now. It's been so insanely power crept in that time that really they ought to change it. Okay, I hope they change it. But either way, Circus of Wonders is great, and then we get the yearbook. Okay, so that is everything that we have confirmed coming for the anniversary events, but we're still kind of missing stuff, right? Like look, this was the mail from last year, and if we compare last year's anniversary events to this year, there are some pretty obvious things missing. The first one being sign in spoils. Log in for 7 days to receive a legendary commander and other great rewards. Now this sign in spoils event has been around for years, right? In the past we've gotten some really fantastic commanders from the sign in spoils event. Most notably, I believe, was Liu Che. If I remember correctly, Liu Che was the first commander we got from the sign in spoils in the anniversary event series, and he came around for the 5th year anniversary, right? And then the year after that was 2024. I believe we got our hands on Bai Chi, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Bai Chi, or I think we had a choice of who we wanted to actually get there. I don't remember exactly what the deal was at that time. And then last year it was Pepin or Casimir. I think it was Pepin for the sign and spoils, and that was obviously like the least exciting of the last couple of years, right? I mean, he's a gathering commander, you get him from gold keys, nobody really cares that much, right? Even though he does have a fantastic expertise, very, very good stuff. I use him daily, so I guess in a way he's maintained some really good value there. But my point is that we don't see the sign in spoils show up for the anniversary events in the mail, which is weird, right? Because again, for the last couple of years we've seen the sign in spoils, and it could be the case that it's coming and maybe they just want to surprise us with it, or maybe it's delayed for some other reason, or maybe they're just not doing it this year because there are so many other good events, or maybe they just didn't list it here because it's a given, right? Like it happens all the time and it's not really something you participate in, you just log in and get it, right? But it just seems seems weird that they don't even mention it here, right? Like if they were going to give us a legendary commander, you would think that they would want to like make that known, like, guys, look, we're giving you a free legendary commander, right? And that's missing here, which is bizarre. But it's even more bizarre this year because we know that this update is bringing us William Marshall as well as Ivan the Terrible, right? And so like this would be another one of those slam dunk moments, just like with Liu Che a couple of years ago, where it's like, boom, here's the new latest greatest commander for cavalry, right? And now you get him, or at least unlock him, just by logging in every day, right? I mean, people would still have to max him out. They would still have to spend sculptures, or they would still have to spin the wheel eventually for when he lands on the Wheel of Fortune, right? Which I'm anticipating being in 2 weeks. Okay, so that would be the wheel that lands on September 7th or 8th, depending on your time zone. But yeah, it just seems a little bit bizarre, right? Like this is probably the most hyped commander to come to Rise of Kingdoms since Sun Tzu Prime, all the way back in like, what was that, January or February, something like that. So you would think that they would like drum up the hype with a sign-in spoils event. You unlock them and you can try them out, and then you get the wheel 2 weeks later and you spend a bunch of gems on it, right? But like I said, sign-in spoils is missing from the mail, and it's also missing from the video, which is bizarre. But the weirdness doesn't stop there, because we're also missing a Zenith of Power. Now, if you guys don't remember, every year, typically in September, it fluctuates a little bit, but usually for September, and especially with anniversary events, we get a Zenith of Power, right? And Zenith of Power events come around typically 4 times per year, right? It's pretty much once every 3 months or once every quarter. We get one in spring, summer, winter, and fall. And last year, the anniversary event brought us the Sands of Time Zenith of Power, as you can see right on the bottom here. And this is, I mean, one of the most beloved city skins that we've gotten in recent years, because it is universal troop attack and 5% action point recovery, which is insane, on top of the fact that the skin looks incredible, right? I mean, this thing is absolutely gorgeous, right? So people loved the city skin. It's very powerful. It's still open field meta today, depending on the player, of course, but you get my point. So people are kind of excited for the next Zenith of Power, and many people are expecting it to be 16% troop defense if they're going to sort of follow in the same footsteps or pattern that they've been doing for years. It's very likely to be universal troop defense 16%. If it's not that, and they're going to change the way that the pattern works, this would be the time that they would include probably a siege or ranged Zenith of Power, which I think a lot of people would not be very happy about. But at the same time, it would be fair for the ranged players to have their own Zenith of Power. My counter argument of that is, okay, if you're a siege player, you've got one. It's just called universal stats, and that means, yes, you have to compete for the most competitive ones, which sucks, but also it just seems a little bizarre to have an entire Zenith of Power dedicated to just ranged players when that is such a small percentage of the player base, right? Even if lots of players use range, they only have one march, right? And so the only people that would benefit from a ranged Zenith would be people with multiple ranged marches, and the percentage of the population that falls in that category is remarkably low. And so it would just be weird to have a full Zenith for that. But either way, that doesn't take away from the fact that we are missing a Zenith of Power here, or again, at least it's not in the mail. It's not listed here in the anniversary events like it was in the past. Like I said, this is last year's mail, and the Zenith of Power is listed at the very bottom here. And then on top of that, it also wasn't mentioned in the official Rise of Kingdoms video. It also hasn't been mentioned over on social media. And so the question is, like, are we just not getting a Zenith of Power for this anniversary event? And if so, why not? Is it still coming in September like we expected to? Like, maybe it's not coming at the beginning of September with the anniversary events, but maybe it will come later in the month, right? Maybe they just want to spread those things out a little bit, which is fine, right? But it's just another bullet point here that is missing from the anniversary event. Now, on top of that, there's other events missing that we saw last year and we don't see this year. So we don't see the Elysian Treasures event. So that's this event right here. And this event is actually one of the newer events in the game. I think they first brought it out in 2024, if I'm not mistaken, if not 2025, maybe early 2025. So we've only seen this event a couple of times, so we really can't say for certain, like, okay, this always comes around. This year it's not, and that's weird. But again, last year we had the Elysian Treasures event. It's not here this year, and I think a lot of people really liked this event as well. You got insanely good value. Now, the sort of counter argument to that is that we had Elysian Treasures a few months ago when it was Easter, right? And so if this is one of those rare events like Desert desert tracks where they're only going to do it once or twice a year, then we've already gotten it this year, right? And so they're not doing it for the anniversary event. On top of that, we don't see smithy specials, right? Smithy specials often comes around for these types of big events, right? These milestone events, anniversary events or whatever. And again, I think we had smithy specials back around Easter, so that's probably why we're not getting it here. Also, I think the last time they did smithy specials, they kind of locked it behind a paywall, which I think a lot of people really hated. So I mean, I guess if they're going to do that, then I don't really care that it's missing, but it is still another thing here that like sometimes we get accustomed to things like smithy specials, like okay, we expect it to be here for the anniversary and it's not here, right? So those two events, they are missing, but we did have them like 4 or 5 months ago and they are pretty rare events, so maybe that's why we're not getting it now. But all in all, these are sort of the things that make me question, like, why does this anniversary event feel different than it has in the past, right? And like beyond that, you know, like this is the anniversary event sort of splash page from last year. It shows you all the different events. We've got the sign-on spoils, the Elysian treasures, Circus of Wonders, anniversary letter, yearbook, desert tracks, all that stuff, right? And certainly we will have a page like that for this year's update. I mean, you can kind of see it in the background here, right? But they don't show it off in the video, right? Which is, again, I mean, clearly they designed like these new frames and everything. Like there's a lot of design that went into these things, and you would think that they would show it off for this video, and they didn't show it off, right? And so it just feels a little different. And I know I'm probably nitpicking at this point, right? Like where's the splash page, right? But I don't know, it just feels different without the sign-on spoils and Zenith of Power and all that other stuff. It seems a little bit bizarre. Now on top of that, last year we also saw the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel posted sort of a video from the developers talking about what is coming next for basically the next year of Rise of Kingdoms. We also saw they did an anniversary live stream. Those two things may still be coming. I genuinely have no idea what that is going to look like. Maybe those are just coming later in the month or something like that. But last year, if I remember correctly, that sort of video where we see it was basically a face-to-face with the developers, but in video form, where it was like literally the developers were kind of talking to the community through the anniversary video. In that video is where we saw the sneak peek for the upcoming special KVK story, right? And so that's another thing that you guys might want to keep an eye out for with this anniversary event series rolling out throughout this month. If we are going to get a special KVK story for this year, and I know a lot of people are hoping we do, and a lot of people are hoping we get a special KVK Archer Commander, if those things are going to happen, it's probably going to be announced during that video if we get a video like that this year, like we did last year. But again, that was not announced here, right? In this is what we're looking at here is the official Rise of Kingdoms like update video, right? This is over on their YouTube channel. So they didn't really announce it here. They clearly have like a set built as well, so maybe they are gearing up to do that anniversary live stream, and perhaps there will be a video. But I wanted to throw that out there because it wasn't mentioned or shown or anything like that. So all of that to say, this anniversary event series brings some insanely good value events that I'm very excited to dig into and jump into as soon as they land in the game, especially the 7k gems event and desert tracks. I'm very excited to see about that. But again, it feels a little weird, doesn't it? They didn't announce sign-on spoils despite having a big commander they could put on the sign-in spoils. Still no word on Zenith of Power, right? I mean, I don't know, it just seems a little bit bizarre to me, and there's some events and things that are missing from last year that aren't here this year. You guys can let me know in the comments if I'm on to something here, or if this is just a nothing burger and they're just kind of rotating out events and it's just the nature of the game. You guys can let me know down below, and while you're down there, drop a thumbs up on the video if you found this entertaining or informative or useful. Hopefully I've reminded you of some of the events that are coming and how you can get the most value out of them and start preparing now. Of course, while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified the next time I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.